Oh, a couple of people joined. Let's open our room up. There we go. Hello. Let's open this room up. Get some people up in here. Hello. Hey, y'all.
How's everyone's day going so far? Hopefully decent.
Far so good. Stuck in traffic in Georgia.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Is the traffic bad?
It's so unpredictable. I should be used to it by now.
What part of Georgia?
Near Mall of Georgia.
Okay.
And with the new construction and everything that's going on, it's like literally even going towards Buford Highway on the the Lawrenceville exit. It's like we're in a line crossing the bridge. I have never seen this before. It's crazy.
That's annoying, especially when they start to introduce like new traffic patterns. You're like, now, come on. Is this really going to be more helpful? I don't know.
I agree with that. But thankfully, they're going to make some more exits in this area. So hopefully that'll help.
Okay. I hope so. Oh. Well, thank you for joining us on your commute.
I was hoping to get home in time to be on my laptop, but obviously that's not going to happen.
It's okay. Listen, we welcome everyone, however they can come in, whether they're coming in with the video on, or just coming in through the chat, or can come in audioly. That's not a word. Audibly? No. Through audio. Y'all know what I mean.
Using forms of multimedia.
Yes. Oh man. Anyway. So, all right, we're going to talk about a couple of things today. We're going to get started probably at 6:05. Just let our room get back, get full real quick. I can't hear. I'll be right back. Okay, Claudia, we will be here. Yeah, quite a few people signed up in like the last, I want to say maybe like 2 hours or so. So hopefully they'll be able to join us because one, we want to talk about just like a couple of professional development opportunities coming up that me and Norm are going to be participating in that we would love to see you guys at if you feel like that's where you're at in your business. If it is not where you're at in your business, and we could talk about where you are at in your business and how conferences and accelerators and just going to some of these type of industry events can help you kind of get to these places. So we definitely want to chat about that. And then we had some people drop some suggestions in the Facebook group as well that we wanted to run over. So if you had something, you dropped it in the Facebook group and you wanted to come and ask live so you can get some other people's ideas, opinions, get some of your peer voices around here, I would love for you to share them. Either you can come off mute or go in a chat. But for the most part, we are going to try to talk about a couple of different topics that we feel like is very seasonal for our business, knowing that first and foremost, the Officiant business is seasonal. You have your engagement season, you have your full swing wedding season, you have, kind of like your downtime. So like, what are you doing for that? How are you transitioning with the weather and with the time change and stuff like that and daylight savings, and just making sure that you're participating in some type of like fall, winter safety as well when you're out doing your wedding. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But we are starting off our meetings in a different type of way. So we would love to start with everybody dropping either in the chat, or we would rather prefer you come off of mute and just share one thing you are excited to learn from this meeting, something you want to take away during our time, or something you're like excited to chat about. So what I say, one thing you want to take away, excited to chat about, or want to learn. Yeah.
Can I be first since I'm driving?
Oh, yes, go ahead.
What I guess with me, this is my first year as a wedding officiant. I also have a notary business, Notary and Beyond Services,
Nice.
which I have incorporated wedding officiant in the business as well as fingerprinting. But what I'm dying to take away or get started is for getting started with my first wedding. I am dying to have my first experience, and I'm like, how do I market myself and with someone that do not have any experience at all to actually come through and be able to win someone over, a lucky couple, I would say,
Yeah.
to win them over, to feel confident that I can officiate their wedding and they will be okay with me doing it for the first time. So that's what I'm hoping to gain.
Love that. That's a good one. All right, we can talk about that a little bit. Who
You see
wants?
me here.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm literally, you know how it is in Georgia. We're talking to people in traffic.
Oh,
I'm
it's
getting
okay.
off of mute. I'm going to get on mute.
I'm the same way. I'm literally the same way. Okay, who's next? We're just talking about what we want to get from the meeting, something that we want to learn, why we came, what we're excited for over the next, 2 hours. How are we going to utilize this time? No, nobody? Okay. Well, I would say for me, I am excited because I want to talk a little bit about American Marriage Ministries. They have their AMM Accelerator coming up for officiants. It's going to be in New York City on the 25th of this month, which I think is literally in 2 weeks. So I'm excited for that because I just want to see like who else is going to be there. I know a lot of you guys aren't based in like the tri-state area, so probably won't be making that trip, but definitely last year there was officiants that came from Jersey, some that came from Connecticut, and from New York that we were able to meet in person. We got to learn from Bethel. We got to learn from Officiant Jimmy. Who was there? Reverend Samora and celebrant Chris Shelley. And I just really enjoyed it. It was just a lot of different topics that helped me kind of like develop my officiant business when I was coming out of like my first year. And that had put me in a good place to kind of be able to transition what my packages look like. And I redid a little bit of my client process as well as restructure like my pricing. So I got a lot of benefit from like being in person, being around people at different experience levels, but then also learning from, those officiants that I see online all the time. And I just love how like they show up in their personality and stuff like that. So that is what I'm most excited for and wanted to talk about. Let's see. Anybody else? No. Okay. All right. So one of the things that was in our Facebook group was asking about how to run a rehearsal when a coordinator or a wedding planner is not present. I cannot remember who asked that question, so hopefully they're here. But let's first talk about, oh, it was me. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Happy to have you, Allie. So first of all, let's talk about one. Drop a 1 in the chat if rehearsals is a part of your package. Drop a 2 in the chat if it is not. Let's start there. Do you even offer rehearsals? Is that something that you like to do, have done before? Is it something you want to offer, but you don't know how? All right, so yes, done some rehearsals. Anybody else? No? Okay. So I like to offer it as an option. Okay, good. It's definitely a good option to have. So let's first start off with what is a rehearsal? What exactly do you do at a rehearsal? Who comes to the rehearsal? And what is your role as the officiant when the coordinator or such and such is not present? So first of all, your rehearsal is going to be basically like a practice run of the ceremony, right? So you want to be going over who is lining up, how they're getting lined up, meaning like what order they're being lined up. You want to know where their spots are, where they're standing, like at the altar once they walk down the aisle, if they're going to be standing, sitting, who is going to be in that front row? Is it going to be reserved for special people? You want to have all of that kind of like practice placement happening. And then you want to practice coming back down the aisle. So that is pretty much the gist of the rehearsal. You are basically practicing timing, walking down with the music. You're practicing placement where everybody is going to be standing in line and at the altar and when they walk back down. And just like the little nuances, like passing off the bouquet, you want to practice like a little kiss, who's going to be fluffing the dress, just so people can kind of get like a little familiar and kind of get like the nervous little jitters out. So now who you would want to have at the rehearsal is going to be everyone who's included in the wedding party and anyone who's walking down the aisle. So wedding party can be flower girl, ring bearer, groomsman, flower girl, best man, maid of honor. Additional people that walk down the aisle can look like aunties, uncles, parents, grandparents, anyone who's just like special to the family that they want to have that independent moment, right? So those are typically the people that will be at the rehearsal, anyone who is a part of the actual wedding ceremony. Sometimes the musicians are there, but a lot of the times, they really don't be. So the way that I prep with my couples beforehand, I do not offer rehearsals anymore. When I first started my business, I did offer a rehearsal. It was a part of my premium package. If you do offer a rehearsal, you want to add on a separate price for it, just because it is a completely independent event than the actual wedding ceremony. So you have to go to the rehearsal spot, whether it's at the venue or a family member's house. You have to be there for the amount of time that it takes for everyone to get there, for you to practice at least 2 times, and for people to gather up and leave. So you'll spend, I would say, at least 30 minutes to an hour there. And then, of course, you have to drive back to wherever it is that you live. So you want to have a separate price for that because, like I said, it's a completely separate event in which you are like doing work with this couple. So, like I said, as you are at the rehearsal, you are going to be there with the family members, with the wedding party, with the couple, typically with the children, if there's going to be any ring bearers or flower girls. And so the first thing you want to do is line them up in their processional order. Well, let me rephrase that. The first thing you want to do is introduce yourself. Let everybody know that you're the officiant, that you're running the rehearsal this evening. Thank everybody for coming, and let them know that we're going to be practicing with the music, lining up where we're going to be standing at the stage and walking back down. And that is the gist of it. As the officiant, please know that you are not going through the wording of your script. So you're not going to sit here and practice reading the love story. Like, that's not the time for that. That's something that you do at home, by yourself. But this is when you go through the flow of the ceremony, meaning if you are going to walk out front as officiant, then that's what you want to practice doing. If you have a welcome message, then practice like a Cliff Notes summarized version of the welcome message. If there is going to be music coming down the aisle, play the music that's actually going to be coming down the aisle with the people that is going to be coming down with. So let's say the groom has his own song, the wedding party and family have their own song, and the bride has her own song. Practice with each of those songs. sometimes couples are a lot more meticulous than they like lead up to be. So they might want to come in at a certain part, or they want everyone to end at a certain part. So that's like a good time to practice that, or at least acknowledge it. So like I said, once you are getting started, you want to have everyone who is going to be actually walking down the aisle at the back of the room. So this would basically be how you would be setting up before showtime, like before all you guys walk down in front of guests. So then after that, you're going to line your bridal party up with however they're going to walk down the aisle. So if it's going to be you first, and then the groom second, and then the grandparents, parents, and then the bridal party, you just want to know what order everyone is walking down in. Now, you also will want to encourage your couple to either get a venue coordination staff or their own coordinator or a wedding planner, because this will then become your unspoken job when the ceremony, like wedding day, actually happens. And that is kind of beyond the scope of, you know, what you do as the officiant. So because it's going to be hard for you to cue people to come down the aisle if you're in front of guests being recorded leading the ceremony, right? So sometimes we just have to help couples understand the logistics of why they should be having additional staff that'll be on the back end doing this type of work for them. But that's like a little disclaimer. So like I said, you will be basically lining up the wedding party the way that they will be walking down the aisle. You will go down first, say your welcome message. You will cue the DJ or whoever is going to be playing the ceremony or processional music. And then as the music goes on, the people will walk down the aisle. Groom first, song change, parents, grandparents, wedding party. Maybe they're walking down in singles. Maybe they're walking down in pairs. That's something that you would talk to the couple about. It's all their preference, right? There's no right or wrong way. And then you'll have the ring bearer go down, and then you'll have the flower girl go down. And then typically there is a pause. You'll ask everyone to stand so that they can welcome the bride. The new music will come for the bride, and then she will make her way down the aisle. Now, once she makes her way down the aisle, you would just have the couple practice gathering hands. You would practice the handoff between the father, the groom, and the bride. You would practice passing the bouquet back. You will practice the dress fluffing. And then you would go through the ceremony flow. So this is when you'll do the unity ceremony. This is when I'll tell your love story. Now we're going to go into our declaration of intent. Now we're going to go into our vows. Now you're going to exchange rings. And then I'm going to pronounce you married. You guys are going to kiss. I'm going to move out the way. You guys are going to kiss. And then I'm going to present you down the aisle. You'll grab your bouquet back. We'll drop the beat. And then you'll walk back down the aisle. So that's basically all you would do at a rehearsal. You would just do that like twice. It's not that bad. There's a lot of YouTube videos as well that'll kind of help you prepare for doing a rehearsal if you have never done one before. That's what I used when I first started doing rehearsals. But for the most part, you are just, again, practicing lining up the processional order in the back, walking down to the tempo of the music provided, having everyone stand at their appropriate places at the altar. So you want to confirm with your couple whether their bridal party or wedding party is standing or sitting. Go through the ceremony flow, and then have them practice the recession. Basically when they walk back down the aisle and they like play the music and we get ready to go to like cocktail hour. So pretty simple. Good question, Claudia. So the reason why I personally stopped doing rehearsals was because I was like spending a lot of time like driving down. Like, okay, I'll say like this. The couples who were booking the rehearsal package always had far venues. like far venues, like an hour away or something like that. And I just could not fathom like driving down there for an hour, like driving an hour, being there for an hour or 2 hours, to driving back an hour to turn around and go back down there for like another hour. Now, what I started to do was, if I do a rehearsal, I would just get a hotel in that area and I would just stay the night. And now I started to like, I would use my rehearsal fee in order to do that. So now I'm thinking about bringing it back and just including that like fee. But then on the flip side with rehearsals, when you are doing weddings on Sunday or Saturday or Friday, sometimes the rehearsals are on Friday or Saturday or Sunday. So, you know, you can book yourself a Saturday wedding with a Friday rehearsal 6 months ahead of time, and then 3 months before the wedding day, now you have an inquiry for that same Friday, but now you're dedicated to this rehearsal when you could have been paid full price for this like ceremony. So some officiants have clauses in there where they don't perform rehearsals on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Some I've seen clauses where if they do provide rehearsals on a weekend, they would have to be before noontime or before 2 o'clock, or there would just be some type of stipulation there that will allow them to still be able to fulfill evening weddings and ceremonies if they wanted to. So that's another thing to consider. But as far as the time spent, it's not a lot. I would actually recommend it only because that gives you time to kind of meet the couple ahead of time, get familiar with like the family and just the other really important people that are going to be there the next day, get you familiar with the venue staff. I think overall just makes you a little bit more comfortable. You can get a lot of good BTS and like content while you're there because either they're setting up or the place is super clear. So you can have like a lot of photos, videos, stuff like that. You can record yourself doing rehearsals and do like rehearsal education content for couples, and you can use that as well. So there's a lot of benefits to doing rehearsals. Don't get me wrong. But you definitely want to make sure that, one, if you are doing it again and there's no wedding planner present or day of coordinator present, they're looking to you to really run it. But when they want you present and there is a day of coordinator or a wedding planner, you let them run point. So I just want to make that distinction. If they do have someone who is in charge of that, then you allow them to run point. Usually if they're professional, then they know when to turn it over, right? And they're going to turn it over after everyone reached the top of the aisle, like at the altar, because after that, they have no parts in it. It's all you anyway. So you would just allow them to do all of the rallying up of the people, putting them in order, and doing all the queuing while you walk down all pretty like you do, go to the top of the altar, wait for everyone to meet you there, and then it's your time to take over until you present them married and they walk back down the aisle, and then you basically shift responsibility back to the wedding planner, coordinator, or whatever to handle the rest of the evening. So that's really the way that you want to think about it. Even if I'm not doing a rehearsal and I'm not encouraging the couple to book me to do the rehearsal, I still will highly encourage them to, or suggest for them still to have a rehearsal, whether it's the day of or the day before, whether their full wedding party is going to be there or not, still do the rehearsal, still do the practice, at least a couple of times. And what else about rehearsals? Norman, did I forget anything? Or did anyone else have any questions or want to share a rehearsal story?
I would say the rehearsals are good because
Talk up a little bit louder, Norman.
okay. So the rehearsals are definitely good because they allow you to reel the family in. Like you as the officiant don't know what the family dynamic is, and I've been to rehearsals where I had to like hug the mom and tell the mom it's gonna be okay. You know, she may be wound up because of different emotions that happen. So I will say definitely go because you never know what you're saving.
I was like, also don't expect to be like invited to the rehearsal dinner. Like very much go to the rehearsal, do all of the coordination and planning, and then watch everyone walk out to go eat steak, and you drive home and get you like some Wendy's on the way back. fully expect for that to happen. You don't often get invited to rehearsal dinners the same way you would get invited to like a reception for the wedding. But when you do, it is very nice. I would suggest that you also go to that because, again, it's just showing that the couple has a lot of intention about bringing their vendors in and just making you guys feel just as, cozy and comfortable as they want their guests to feel. So when you come across like couples like that, that's always super special. But yeah, I'm trying to think anything else in terms of rehearsals. So yeah, encourage your couples to have them. If they have no coordination team, you should lead the rehearsal. If you got paid to do, if it's a part of your package, an add-on, whatever. Prices vary, right? You just got to think about how much you want to charge. When I first started doing rehearsals, my rehearsal fee was $250. Most rehearsal fees are between $100 and $250. So, think about what your area, look at what competitors in your area are charging for rehearsals, if any. See if it's a part of their package and their package is just a little bit more pricey. You know what I mean? Because you have to think about it. They're factoring in travel and time for that, additional event. So if your price is, I don't know, $250, but their price is $500 or $550 and includes the rehearsal, then that $250, $300 is probably what they're charging for the rehearsal, versus having it like separated like an add-on. When I first started, that was just the differences between my package. So my first package was a elopement, my middle package was like a regular wedding, and then my last package was a wedding plus a rehearsal. So that's how I started out with my packages. Now it's different, but that's how I began. Okay, Norman said in the chat, have a method in advance on how you want to run your rehearsals, meaning the couples usually don't know what to do, so have the confidence. Definitely have the confidence. Like I said, there's a lot of YouTube videos on how to run a rehearsal. I literally just wrote down the basics, which was like processional order, so writing down, obviously who's paired up with who and what order they want people to go down, what songs they want. And then once we actually so I guess one thing that will show if you're more professional than not is when you're doing the processional order, you want to line up with the best man maid of honor being at the end of the line, like closest to the bride, so that once they go and they walk down the aisle and they fill in where the altar is, the people that are at the front of the line will be the furthest away from the bride and groom once everyone fills in, if that makes sense. So hope visually, yes. Okay, cool. So that's one way that can, that's like a quick telltale, because then if not, you would have to reverse it. So we know from the beginning with the lineup. Okay, cool. So yes, that's the biggest thing. So yeah, you just want to practice again, handoff for the bouquet, dress fluffing. If the couple is being given away by a family member, just remind them to do the quick little pleasantries, handshakes, hugs, kisses. I always tell the groom, if I'm at an altar that has like a platform, I will be on the top of the platform, but I will have the groom wait until the bride comes and gets presented to him for them to both step up onto the platform. So that's just like another little thing. They come up to the platform together. We start the ceremony, and then they step down together, and then they, recess back down the aisle. So when you do the rehearsals, scope out the scenery, right? Look at where you're going to be at the altar, because you never know the decor that someone is going to come with. They might have a lot of, floral installations, or they may have different like tables or candles or things like floating water, whatever. Let me tell you, I've kicked over I kicked over a glass that was filled with water and candles at the thing before. So be aware of your surroundings, have an exit plan for when you are moving out of the way for either the first kiss or when they exchange vows or when you present them and pronounce them married. Like, know where you are going to step aside at so that you can, not be in those photos, but you already have the idea like ahead of time. You're not just like trying to figure out what you're going to do. Similar if you are using a table or a mic stand. With a mic stand, I like to practice like grabbing the mic stand and like backpedaling out of the way just because I don't want the mic stand in the shot either. Like I'm really committed to nobody being in the shot but the couple. So I try to take the props with me. If I can avoid props altogether, that is the way that I go. But if I have to take them with me, we are all scurrying out at the same time. So, Allie, I hope that helped. Was there anything else or anything specific?
No, that helped really well. Because I only did one rehearsal, but the wedding coordinator was there with me, so she ran it. And I was nervous. I was very nervous before I got there. So I'm like, let me just see how other people do this. So just in case I don't have someone, to help me.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Absolutely. That's so funny. Yeah, the first time I ever had to do a rehearsal, I also was super nervous. I was on YouTube. I wrote down my little cheat sheet on my clipboard, and then I got there and her planner was there. And then she did everything. And I was like, okay. I did all of this preparation, was super nervous for nothing. But for me, it was really good because I got to see how she did it versus how I was going to do it. And then also the practicalities of it, right? It's a lot more fun and casual than the ceremony is. And I think for that first meeting, it is a good to kind of show your personality, jokey joke a little bit. So I like that element of it too. But then I also saw how unserious people are as well. People are not listening. And they're grown people. People bring their kids, their children are there. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a mix of don't take it too seriously, but definitely, be the professional, but still keep it casual. Even something what do you wear to a rehearsal, right? Do you wear jeans and a t-shirt? Do you wear a little dress? Do you go business casual? Norm, what you wear? Because you always dress up. I'm curious.
So the last one I did, I wore a polo and jeans. Another one that I did, that's more short.
You breaking up. He on a train. Okay. I think he was saying for the destination one, it was even more casual. Would you say you wore polo and shorts? Okay, one day.
Yes, that's what he said.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh man. But yeah, just to wrap that piece up, I too, depending on the vibes, I'll wear jeans and a wedding related shirt. I got this shirt made when I did a bridal show. It says "Hey Fiance" on it. So it's obviously I'm part of wedding something, but it's really not super formal. So I do want to transition it to being more of a polo with my logo in the front and maybe the "Hey Fiance" on the back. Or I'll do a really cute casual dress. So those that's usually what I will wear to the rehearsal.
Okay, that's good. I always wear my my business shirt.
Okay, yeah. So definitely get you some just branded attire, something that's a little bit more casual, business casual, but something with your your wedding business brand on there, whether it's just your logo, business name, just something. Yeah. So I'm throw that out there. Go ahead, Claudia. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I hear you double, but I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, I guess you'll just have to hear me double.
It's
But
okay. Go ahead.
let me think. Oh, since you know, I went to weddings in the last century, right? So you mentioned the DJ. The music, is it typically not live at weddings?
So it depends on the couple. The couple can do a live band, or they can do a DJ. They can do a songstress. I've had couples do like a quartet or do live instruments, but they usually will still have a DJ because the DJ will be there for the reception. So I usually see them for the
But
ceremony
for
for just
the
backup. Yeah.
rehearsal, I guess I may have said that my background is singing at lots and lots of weddings. And I think that, especially if I had like a trio or something like that, that they also rehearsed at the rehearsal.
No. So I don't usually see any other vendors at the rehearsal aside from me and whoever's doing coordination, honestly. And a lot of
How do you
times I
practice
hear
that music when they're coming down the aisle and all that?
your phone.
Oh, you just play whatever it is.
Yeah, you just play it on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't have that back in the last century.
It's okay. So I do have something. I could probably wait for this at the end. Nearly, yeah, I'd wait for it nearly at the end. But I have something for my fellow officiants that are in here that have been here quite a few times. And lately in the group chat, I've been asking you guys certain things and prompting stuff. So I'm gonna leave you with a homework assignment. So stay tuned.
Love that. Okay, cool. So yeah, they would just, whatever the music is, if there's like a special rendition of a song, like I want the live acapella of John Legend singing All of Me, then you need to have that on your phone so that we can practice with it. So yeah, that's all. All right. Love that. Love that. So another topic we wanted to talk about was Google My Business. Let's chat a little bit about Google My Business. Drop a 1 if you have a Google My Business page for your wedding officiant business. Drop a 2 if you do not, or you have no idea what I'm talking about. All right, all right. We got a couple of ones. Come on, there's more people in here than that. 1 if you have a Google My Business page. 2 if you do not, or you do not know what I'm talking about, specifically for your officiant business.
And I have a follow-up question when we get all the numbers in.
Okay, okay. Okay. Okay.
All right. So follow-up question is, when was the last time you was on your Google business page?
Yeah. Or how often do you update it? I'm just curious. All right, we got Tuesday. That's good. That's this week. I don't even got Tuesday. Every week. That's right, Tammy. Every week. That's good. All right, so we're kind of a little bit everywhere with it. Some of us have it, some of us don't. And then if we do have it, how often are we checking? All right. Did you want to follow up to that, Norm?
Yeah, so I was gonna say, to the ones that are using it, kudos. To the ones that haven't, still kudos. I see Claudia said my goal is to post twice a week. That is a good goal. I will say definitely optimize on your Google as much as possible. So as much as you use your phone, you should be using your Google business page to optimizing it. So adding updates is important. Reviews, I know they're a little stagnant and hard to get sometimes, but those are definitely important. And responding to reviews are also just as important as well. So you want to be present so that the algorithm knows that you're a real person and not a business that's just stagnant. Adding photos is definitely important as well. And even if people leave reviews and they leave photos of their reviews, those are also pluses as well. So there's quite a few tips and tricks we have to like optimize more, to get you where you need to be. And adding updates. Updates don't always have to be photos. It can be just a quick one liner of an update.
Yeah, so I would have to agree with Google My Business. I don't know if you guys saw Denise. She is super active in posting. An Officiant Colorado took over ownership of Officiant business and has catapulted it. So love anytime she inputs in our group. But she had posted the other day about she was really talking about marketing on Wedding Wire and the Knot. But I'm gonna make my point real quick. So her post was basically speaking about how there's a lot of conversation about Wedding Wire and the Knot, how wedding pros feel like they don't know if it's worth it, whether they're actually getting leads from it, whether they're dealing with a lot of people ghosting them, and is it worth the monthly subscription that is pretty hefty, right? So in the post that she presented, she spoke about how her presence of having a profile. I think she does have I don't know if she has a free profile. I'm not sure because there's different levels you can come in at. I personally have the free profile, but she was speaking about how she booked 2 clients. One came from Google and saw her Wedding Wire and the Knot profile and then went through there from that. And then the other one, I think she said came through on her website, but they looked at her Wedding Wire and the Knot profile first. And I say that to say it's important to build up your digital real estate. So digital real estate is basically everywhere that your business is present in the digital world. So on different profiles, on different pages, platforms, directories, things that are specifically related to wedding industry like services or products. And Google My Business is just one of your ways to do that, right? We already know Google is a huge search engine, especially for people who do not claim to be tech savvy or like, maybe social media savvy, because honestly, TikTok is like right on Google's heels, right? Especially for this population of couples that are like getting married. We're in the, millennial Gen Z-ish era of couples that are in marrying age. So just being mindful. Oh, next door. Okay, we could talk about next door, Sabrina, too. But yeah, so just being mindful of like all the different places that you can host your business for free. That's going to build up your digital real estate. That's going to allow couples to be able to see you here, but then also see you here, also see you here, also see you here. It just builds to the credibility and the trust and the visibility of your business. So like I said, I love that Denise alluded to, hey, maybe Wedding Wire and the Knot didn't directly give me this booking, but me having a profile here, they were able to see that from Google and saw and trusted my business more because of that, right? Or because they looked at my website and they saw that I had a Wedding Wire and the Knot profile. They saw that I, put myself out there with other people that are in the industry like me. So at least I feel like I'm comparable to them. So at least now they feel like I'm comparable to them too, right? That's like half the battle. So building up that digital real estate in places that are free is going to help you. So I know our friend hopped off already, but she was asking about how to get started, getting your first wedding, feeling confident and getting out there. And the first thing you really need to do, especially if you lack reviews or lack any type of like photos or any type of like social proof, is building up your digital real estate, is having yourself on these different profiles, again, pages, platforms, officiant and wedding directories. That is going to, again, build to your credibility and at least make you look confident enough to put yourself in this position where you're on a level playing field with other people who provide the same services as you, who may have more experience or more reviews or more photos. But it's okay, because it might be something about you that makes a difference. So I always say this, but like, let your like quirks be your niche. Like, let who you are, let your uniqueness be your niche, right? So if you are a Black woman who is like in her 30s with locks, let that be your niche. That might be the reason why somebody books you. Same thing if you are a male officiant who is a little taller, who loves to dress up super snazzy everywhere he goes. I don't know. People might like that and be like, hey, listen, you never know. So That's like the biggest thing, but there are different places that you can do that. So let's talk about Nextdoor real quick. Sabrina, have you had success on Nextdoor? How do you like use it? I've heard of Nextdoor. I haven't had success on Nextdoor, but I have heard of it.
Yes, to be fair, I just started and actually just recently discovered it by accident.
Okay, so break down what Nextdoor is for the people who
So
don't know.
basically, Nextdoor is you are actually connecting with your community, like close, whatever community that you're close by within a certain parameter. You can go as 10 miles, 20 miles, 30 miles, so on and so forth. And so you can make posts, communicate. People do ask questions. Hey, do anyone know a notary, or does anyone have a plumber nearby, or does someone know someone that is good that can officiate a wedding? We're getting married. We want to elope. And so those type of things I noticed on there. I'm like, oh, okay. And so I actually just did a little personal profile, and it prompted me to do a business profile. And so I actually started working on that. And it actually kind of like Google, to be honest with you, because they do the ads. They allow you to post ads and all that kind of stuff. They monitor whoever clicked on your link and actually viewed your page and all that kind of stuff. So like I said, I'm just being fair. I just started, but I can see the potential of it because I want to gravitate towards or market to people that's nearby me. That's a little bit more convenient for me.
Yeah.
Nextdoor is free. To answer your question.
Yes, it is.
As well. Yeah, I'm on there as well. And it's definitely good, like Sabrina said. It's also good for neighborhood watch. That's originally why I got on there, way before I started notary and wedding. And then it just, like Sabrina said, started notifying you about a plethora of things. So I would say it is good. They do have the paid app option if you wanted to like pay to boost yourself up more. I know I haven't done that at all, but I have like from time to time periodically posted something here and there.
Yeah, so Nextdoor, like I said, similar to you, Sabrina, I've heard of Nextdoor. I think I made a profile back for my notary business. I could definitely see it being another way to put yourself out there. I do not know how much business is being generated on there just because it's like an app that I feel like not a lot of people know about or really use that much. But for the business owners that are on there, especially ones that are in the wedding industry, I would absolutely connect with them because they're like, if you're on like an app like that, that's kind of just like, innovative and not the traditional, type of app to be on, then those people will probably have a, maybe like a similar mindset in terms of, maybe marketing or whatever to you. So I would definitely be interested in meeting people that way. But yeah, that's a good place to go to. But there's a lot of different places that you can post your business, that you can post for free. We talk about organic versus like paid marketing, and really having a mix of them, they say is the best. I'll be honest, I have been solely focused on doing organic marketing, which is basically free marketing using social media, word of mouth. I'm just starting to get into blogging, which is really good. So like, they talk about really building up evergreen content, which is basically content that never goes out of style, never expires. It is not, it might be seasonal in terms of I can put this out every winter or every fall, but not, this is only content for fall 2024. So you want something that's just a little bit more timeless that can, kind of just keep growing with you. So a lot of people say that's a great way to approach when you're talking about blogging. You want to have that out there. So whenever someone is planning their like wedding ceremony and they're just like researching whatever, and they just come across your page, you're not actively, maybe going after that person, but they come across your information just from like research from a blog you did, I don't know, like 2 years ago and stuff. I know I do it at least. I'll come across blogs and I'll look at the date because I'll read a blog that's from 2020 and I'm like, well, is this even relevant anymore? You know what I mean? So People definitely still read blogs. So I just want to throw that out there. But just to build up some resources for our other officiants here, maybe can we drop a couple of free, platforms, profile pages, whatever we know of, for people to drop their business. So of course we have, Google My Business, and then Wedding Wire and the Knot has a free profile. So I would highly suggest you going on their free profile.
I just posted two in the chat.
Oh, okay. Alignable LinkedIn. Those are good ones too. There was another one. Normally, I feel like you told me about one. What is that? David's Bridal Pearl? Something like that?
The Pearl.
Yeah, the Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
David's Bridal. So basically, you will want to find, again, directories and different platforms that focuses on wedding planning, wedding vendors, just wedding related content. If you can get a free profile on there, get you a free profile on there, excuse me. Even if it's something that's more geographical, like that's in your area or specific to like your state or your region or something like that. If you have free opportunities, definitely do that. And you want to think, it's at the tip of my tongue. What am I thinking of? Ethnicity. So like things that focus on Black-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, Latino-owned businesses, they allow you to have a free profile, put your business on those type of pages as well, because we are now in the age and time where couples are being very intentional about the vendors that they're working with. So like they are picking an all Black vendor team. They are picking an all Latino vendor team, if that's the culture that they come from and that's the community that they want to support and that's who they want to be surrounded with on their big day. So if your state allows you to have minority specific certificates, then that's also a good thing that you can put with your business. I think you do have to have an LLC for you to apply for these type of certificates, but a lot of these certificates are free. They identify your business as woman owned or minority owned or Black owned or whatever the specific certificates are for. And then that definitely puts you in position for grants for your business, as well as like government contracts, maybe like county or city contracts. Definitely, if you are like doubling down like with your notary business, then you want to get your notary business certified specifically for those reasons as well, because there are a lot of contracts that are out there that you can, have for your business. So throwing that out there. Okay, so we talked about running a rehearsal.
Question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Do you get that from the Secretary of State, or how do you get those?
The certificates? Certifications?
Yes.
Yes, you got to look for your state. So I'm in New Jersey. So when I looked up like New Jersey, like business certifications, I saw one for like women-owned minority businesses. There's one for minority-owned businesses. There's one for small business enterprises. There's one for LGBTQIA businesses. Like there's at least, I want to say like 7 or 8.
Okay.
But I was able to find them for my state. So I would just probably like Google your state or go to like your state's, what is it, like revenue? What is the department? Department of Revenue or whatever it's called, Treasury.
What was that again?
Division of Revenue.
Division of Revenue. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you both. Thank you both.
Yeah, absolutely. I think before, at least in Jersey, the certifications used to charge, but now they are free. So like I said, hop on it. I did a lot of them back in like 2021 when I was more on my notary business, and a lot of people were getting cannabis, like whatever, like paperwork's here, like to start dispensaries or like biddings or some whatever happened. It was crazy. Everybody was getting cannabis paperwork done, and everybody was getting like minority business certificates done, because I think the bid was going, where like it was like special consideration if you had that type of certification. And it says it on the paper, on the different applications. It'll say like, you know, municipal opportunities available, or these considerations are higher with this type of certification, yada, yada, yada. So if you are really looking to double down in your officiant business, please know that there's a lot of different grant programs out here that can help you like better double down your vision, whether your vision is like a little mini chapel or an elopement service or like a one-stop for, I don't know, everything. I know there's one officiant that's in California that's able to do these confidential like marriage licenses. Like if she wanted to create some type of service that's one stop, you get everything. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of grants that's out here, and there's a lot of business development programs. So the one that me and Norm have both participated in, well, I did 1 year, he's currently in it this year, is a Fellowship for Change program with Wedding Pro. So that's specifically for business owners that are within their first 5 years that are considered underrepresented, you know, from an underrepresented community that has a business within the wedding industry. And then I've seen other officiant businesses getting like these other like grants for like their elopement business or their chapel business, or you know what I'm saying, whatever it is. So, and then there's grants out here that, well, honey, just pay you a salary, okay? Like, take this money. You don't even need it to put in for your business. This money is literally just for you and your salary so that you can work on your business comfortably. So just know that if you decide to take this seriously and make it an official business by doing these LLCs, whatever, that you want to protect yourself with these certifications, but then you also want to put your best foot forward and start to become aware of these business development programs and these grant programs and just these different opportunities that, you know, other people can help you pour into your business in a way that's like, you know, what you can do for yourself right now. I'll put it like that. So with that being said, we would love to talk about what is some like work that you plan on doing for your business during the off season. So we are about to start getting into the cold seasons, at least here in Jersey. Wedding season is about to start slowing down within the next month. October is really like the last month that it really is, you know, semi-popping before it starts to get cold. November, December, January, February, March. And so that for us is our off season, our down season, what we would call like engagement season, booking season, stuff like that. So even for people who has not started, where your state is, do you know what the seasons are for the wedding industry? I'm just curious. Let me better ask the question. Drop a 2 in the chat if you know your wedding, what seasons, the seasons of the wedding industry for your state is, and drop a 3 in the chat if you don't know what I'm talking about. Thank you, Sabrina.
I'm dropping a 3. I kind of know what you're asking. However, I don't know. I know what you're asking, but
It's okay.
but I feel like I really do feel like this is a great opportunity for me to actually get my ish together to be prepared for the season popping when it starts again. So I feel like I hone in on this opportunity to learn as much as possible.
We sliding up to what you got to do to get to where you want to be. So this is already part 1. And then when we done, we're going to give you some more action items before you leave today.
Amen. All right now.
I love that. Okay, so we're a little bit everywhere. I know what she's asking, but I don't know the seasons in my area. Micah, what state are you in? I'm curious. And then we have Claudia in Florida. I don't think it's the summer here. Okay, Georgia. All right, cool. And then we have Florida. And then I didn't know people charge more per season. Hey, maybe people do charge more per season. I personally do not charge more per season. I think I have actually seen that though. I have seen that people charge more.
I've seen that.
Yeah, because I think it depends if you're in like an area with extreme weather, like, you know what I mean? Like if you have like really sunny days, like hot, you know how they be in like Texas and stuff like that. Versus if maybe it's more like snowy. I don't know. That's a good maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, cool. I think fall, winter, spring, summer depends on hurricane season. Yeah. All right, cool. So basically, when you're thinking about the seasons of the wedding industry, you're thinking about when it's wedding season. So when you are in full bloom, you're physically doing the work, you're, you know, performing the weddings and stuff like that. And it's just more likely that weddings are happening versus what is your off season. So when weddings tend to slow down, when the weather tends to change, when you just see a change in bookings or just weddings being like performed. So when you live in like areas that are extremely like seasonal or, you know, sensitive to the climate, then you'll typically see that up and down a little bit more than places like Florida or California, or just places where it's like hotter and you spend a lot more time outside. So I really ask because when you are starting to go into like an off season or slow season or booking season, it can feel a little bit discouraging because you're not actually maybe getting a lot of consultations or you're not performing a lot of ceremonies. But that's not to say you can't be booking ceremonies. That's not to say you can't be improving your process so that when this season does pick up, now you can better handle the workload of the couples that you are able to book during that time. And then also, you want to think of like your off season, your slow season as a way to start figuring out your marketing campaigns, anything that you're doing for holidays, any like future collaboration ideas or like people that you want to like partner with. Because if it's slow for you, then more than likely it's slow for them, right? So this is the time for you to really start having those conversations. So yes, one, it's super important to really figure out what is the seasonal changes that happens in the industry for your state, because New Jersey is going to be different from Georgia, from Florida, from California. I would say mainly because of the climate, but yeah, that's where you're going to see like the biggest differences, right? So what is the work that you can be doing during your off season, during slow season, during what they call like, I would say, let me rephrase that. So I would say booking and engagement season is more towards holiday season. So December, I would say November, December, January, February, right? So you have Thanksgiving. I feel like not so much Thanksgiving, but you have Christmas, what is it? New Year's Day, Valentine's Day, honey, and tax season. That's the one I was forgetting. Tax season, people be getting their engagement rings and putting their down payments. You know, they be getting their little coins together because they got a little extra something to work with. You know what I mean? So those are the seasons where I would consider them to be like booking season, engagement season. People are starting to like really look because they're now in that chapter, right? So the thing about the wedding industry that's so unique and super cool is that more than likely everyone is going to go through their like fiance era, engaged era at some point in their life. And it don't matter to them until they enter that era. So like yesterday, before I was proposed to, I could care less about officiants, cake costs, dresses, venues, all of this stuff. But once the ring is on the finger, Now that's all I care about until my ceremony is over. So however long, that time period is. But the point is, once people like step into their engagement era, even if they don't necessarily like book with you within that first month, 2 months, because their wedding may be 2 years down the line, that's when they're starting to pay attention to you. That's when they're starting to look for you. That's when they're starting to see you on these different areas and starting to look at your socials and look at your website, and you're starting to go on their Pinterest board and like their little like spreadsheets and stuff like that. So it's still time for you to be paying attention to everything that you have going on and still putting good, content and like work out there, because you never know like who is kind of watching you during this like off season. So a couple of things, like I said, that I would suggest is, one, figuring out what is your marketing plan going into like the new year, the next quarter. Do you want to be on these platforms like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, or Facebook, right? Do you want to post more behind the scenes content, more educational content, more talking content, more fun content, right? What is your engagement plan? How are you going to keep up with this community of people that you're building, right? The whole point of you putting any type of content out there is to build brand awareness, to build brand visibility, to get more eyes on your business so people know that you exist, they know the services you provide, and they know how to find you, right? Excuse me. So you want to think about all the different channels, the distribution channels in which you can do that. That can look like local marketing by going to, introduce yourself to the local venues in your area. That can look like having a virtual coffee, date campaign with wedding planners, inviting them to virtual coffee dates or real coffee dates, and trying to get in with some of the local wedding vendors that, you can work with in your area. That can look like redoing your website so that it looks a lot more professional and it reflects the services that you provide, and it has the photos and the reviews. It can look like getting a new, well, I'm speaking for myself, but getting a new business management system. So I just started using 17 Hats now, and going into off season, I need to perfect 17 Hats, because the whole point of it is to bring more automation to my business. So like, I'm not writing these emails no more. I'm just like reviewing them and clicking send, and it's going off of like its own timeline that I put in like months ago. You know what I mean? So it's like supposed to alleviate some of the day-to-day operations, but it don't mean nothing if I don't actually put it together. So that's what I'll be doing during the off season, putting that system together so that when my new couples start to use it, when I go up on my price, now they have this client portal that does all of these really cool automations, reminders, keeps their documents in one place, and allows me to like walk them through my process easier. So just an example. But yes, go ahead, Sabrina.
Okay, so I have a question then.
Yes.
To build my social media or brand awareness, with the fact that I do not have basically no experience under my belt, how do I present myself as someone that they can rely on or they can trust that can do the job?
I love that. So I guess my first question is, do you trust you can do the job?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you bring to your couples that allows you to do the job?
I'm very oriented. I mean, like PTOCD type of thing. So I'm very organized.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like I can bring to the table professionalism.
Okay.
Also, it's not going to be boring. I can actually crack a joke here and there, regardless if you like it or not. But I want to be able to perfect my craft, and I want to be able to share that I can do that. So I really take it seriously, if that makes any sense.
I got you, Sabrina. Everyone that is on the call other than Tiara, take out a piece of pen and paper. This is going to be part of your homework. Don't worry. And every time y'all got something, I got something to help y'all. So what you're going to do, because I know a few of you may have started, a few you may have not, a few of you may be like in front of the door, but still on the fence and still haven't made that leap. So what we're gonna do for part one, because you're gonna have a few action items, you're going to list all of the things that make you uniquely you. That's gonna be part one of that. Part two of this is after today, everything that you list that makes you uniquely you, you're going to start using that in your brand. So uniquely you, I'm not going to give you like a time limit or a limit of how many things you can put down. You're going to put down how many things you could think of. So you might think of 5 tonight, 3 tomorrow, 3 on Sunday. What makes you uniquely you? And then what I'm going to do to make sure you all did the homework is on Monday, I'm going to actually schedule it now so that it automatically goes. On Monday, I'm going to put in a group chat what makes you uniquely you. And I'll word it probably just so everybody that hasn't been on this call today knows what I mean. And then you're going to put down what makes you uniquely you. After today, like I said, you're going to start using all of those action items or using all of those adjectives, verbs, nouns, and putting that into your brand. So that'll mean, let's say, for example, if Tiara has locks, which she does, you can use that as to now you're using that for your brand. So the women with locks that made like another woman with locks, now you're going to cater to them in order to get their awareness that, hey, Tiara's a wedding officiant, she's in town, she's trying to get your business, but do it in a way that's gravitating and captivating to the audience.
I'm sorry, was you done, Norm?
I was done for the moment. Yep.
Okay,
Done.
okay. Okay, so I love that. I love that. So in addition to that, or I'll say this, an example of that, Sabrina, would be so a couple of things that I've learned that made me unique. One, I'm very, very big on gratitude. I am a gratitude enthusiast, joy advocate. So those things are like super big to me. When I first started my business, my slogan was helping you tie the knot with ease and joy. I knew I wanted the process to be easy. I know I wanted it to be joyous for any couple that I dealt with. So gratitude is really big for me. The second thing is like authenticity. The questions that I ask and the way that I put the story together is very unique. It's very authentic to, of course, my writing style, the questions that I ask. I think that's not something that's uncommon for every officiant to use as a marketing tool, saying that they write a custom ceremony, that they write a unique ceremony, that they're going to provide a, a personalized like experience or like a personalized script. So I think leaning more into what are some synonyms for what you're going to provide, right? So for me, I personally am going to lean more into authenticity because when I write the script, I like to focus on a couple's accomplishments, their quirks, and the reasons they fell in love. So for me, that leans more to authenticity of not just celebrating that they found love, but why they fell in love. So that's something that's important to me, to tell that story, right? And last thing is a lot of officiants market creating a memorable experience, a ceremony experience, just something more focused on the actual ceremony. Whereas for me, I've created a 3-step wedding planning process So other officiants, they do no meeting whatsoever, and they only do questionnaire email correspondence. Some officiants do a 1 meeting workshop. Some officiants only meet with you over the phone. You know what I'm saying? Or they don't meet with you more than one time. Whereas me personally, yes, we're going to have this really great ceremony experience, but what we're really going to have is a meaningful and intentional planning experience. And so for me, that was more important, and at least made me stand out uniquely, because a lot of officiants don't focus on the planning. They focus on the ceremony. They focus on the script. Like, that's where their marketing comes in. So I really wanted to emphasize how what Norman said, what I said, and then a combination is what you're going to come up with. So what Norman said was, write down, these personality traits of yourself. And similar to what I said is, okay, once you write down those personality traits of yourself, let those quirks become your niche. I am naturally interested in gratitude. I am naturally, like to provide authentic spaces where people don't have to feel like they need to know everything. That's just what I naturally do. I naturally want the journey to be just as fun as the results. So I focus on the memorable planning experience as well as a memorable ceremony experience. So these are things that I just already find value in, and then I've created a value-based service to show that value and made it, feel important to the people that I'm working with as well. So I know it sounds like complicated, and I've definitely done mentorship and coaching, so that helps me with my clarity in my business as well. That's why we always preach, me and Norman, find you a mentor, find you a coach. It does not have to be us. If you want it to be, that's cool. But we've taken the time, the money, and all of that to have this type of clarity that we want to share with y'all, to show that it is possible to stand out, because we all do the same thing in this room. You know what I mean? So that was my 2 cents. But to go back to your original point, Sabrina, which was about content. So when you spoke about organization, professionalism, cracking a joke, and perfecting your craft, some content ideas that can look like is FAQs, for your state, for the marriage license process, just any questions that you see couples, kind of come up with that you've seen in different Facebook groups, or you can use like different Google forums, but just to start to provide that education is going to start to show for your professionalism. As you start to develop out your ceremony process, how do you take them on the journey of making this perfect script? Then you can start promoting that as well, because that's going to be unique to you and your business, however it is that you work with your couple up until that day. Organization, you can provide some organization tips, to couples, show some BTS of how you work within, your business, how you do officiant like things. So maybe showing how you do, like, you're dropping off and doing like marketing, or how you will put together your officiant bag, or like different clothes you would wear, because that's something else that's very important to couples. They want to see how you look. They want to see your professionalism is going to show up in how you sound, what you look like, what you wear. So a lot of people who gravitate towards Norman, they really appreciate the way that he shows up very fashionably, sometimes better than everybody else that came to the wedding, and has been complimented on that, right? And now that's a part of his brand. So when he shows up places, because he always looks so clean cut and nice and put together fine, they're going to expect him to look like that at the ceremony, because that's all that they've seen him show up as. That's a professionalism, or that's how he shows up as a professional, as a wedding professional. So your professionalism can be, again, your attire, how you interact with your couples, how you interact with other wedding pros, something simple as a vendor shout out. You could start using that as like content, as well as developing relationships and starting to build those strategic partnerships. And it's okay that, you haven't done a wedding before. Everybody starts somewhere. And I will always say, whenever you are using content that is not yours, you do not own, you just want to be mindful, because one, a lot of people use, like, what's that called? Not sample. I can't think of it. Like,
Like a template.
yeah, like template, or just something like card stock, just like when the photos, everybody get to the photos. I can't think of the word, child. It's still at the top of my head, but it's okay. Anyway, when you're using like those kind of stock photos, you want to be careful using stock photos, because other people also use stock photos. So like now, as people are looking around, you can kind of see the same photos kind of showing up on different people's pages. So you definitely don't want to be a part of that. You want to make sure that the stock photos you do choose is a good representation of you and your business. So if you are a woman-owned business, you do not want to use stock photos with male officiants. It just don't match. If you're a Spanish officiant, then you don't want to use a photo with a Black officiant. It just don't match. People are expecting you to show up how you look online. So like they're looking for that to be connected, to say the least. So I would say highlight your organization, highlight your professionalism with, again, answering questions, do more information posts, more educational posts, do some fun posts, show your personality, right? Personality is super important to couples as they're picking their officiant. They want someone that they can feel comfortable with, someone they can laugh with, someone that can make their family laugh. So if humor is important to you, and the type of scripts and ceremonies that you write, then make sure that that's like showcased in your personality online, and like whatever your digital presence is. Digital presence, brand voice, all of these words are synonymous with how does your business show up online, how do people receive it, and is that connected? Go ahead, Claudia.
Thank you.
You gotta go off mute, honey.
Okay. Now we're on echo. This is unrelated, but what is sign and go?
Okay, sign and go is very similar to an elopement. It's just like skipping all of the thrills and all that stuff. It's literally just doing your mandated state language.
Vows?
Yeah, not even vows, because vows is not mandated, right? The
Well,
only thing
I mean, whatever it is you have to say in your state, that little part.
Exactly. So your declaration of intent and then your pronouncement is usually what's required by state. So just those two, and it's signing the paperwork. So you're not even really doing a script. You're not even making a script. Yeah.
Okay. I was asking ChatGPT about packages, different packages, and it said sign and go, and it said elopement.
Yep.
And it did sort of make it seem like you didn't do the state stuff, but you do the little state stuff.
Yes.
And then I guess you can notarize the document.
If that's what your state requires. In New Jersey, you do not notarize marriage licenses, so we would not. But if that is something for your state, then yes, that's what you would do.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So there's really, I would say maybe four types of ceremonies. I call it the big four. The first one is going to be your sign and goes. Super, super, super simple. Like I said, declaration of intent, pronouncement, and that's pretty much what you say as the officiant. Then you have your elopements. Your elopements are typically very small, 10 guests or less, mostly, family oriented. Sometimes even vow renewals can look like elopements, just because they wanted to keep it very small and intimate. And then you have your micro minis, which is your ceremonies that's up to 50 guests. you do the same thing. You would have people walk down an aisle, wedding party, all of that good stuff. So it's just a mini version of a full ceremony. And then your last one is your elaborate ceremonies, which is just your full productions, big venues, big bridal parties. I want all the bells and whistles, works and wonders. So you typically fall in those 4 categories.
What are vow renewals?
It's when people who are already married just want to renew their vows. So they'll just have another wedding celebration where they would just say their vows again. They can get paperwork done over again if they want to. They just don't have to.
Does it look like a rerun of the wedding, except you're 30 years older or something?
Basically. So, I mean, the language would be different. You weren't necessarily talking about, oh, to this beginning chapter and stuff like that. You would more speak to everything that they've done over the last 30 years and the life that they created, maybe what they're looking forward to. But you'll speak to the time they spent together versus, you know, you found one another. Yeah, you found each other 30 years ago, like you said. So
You have some vows that they sign? Yeah, because that's the whole point of it. They're renewing their vows. So they sort of go through that part too.
yeah, it's like a rededication.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they could do it how best see fit. So for me, I did a vow renewal in April, and I had a consultation, did everything like I normally would do with an initial ceremony. The only difference was we didn't do any marriage license signing because they were already legally married. So for me, I asked them what type of flow they wanted, like what type of aura they wanted for their wedding, because this doesn't have to be as long. It doesn't have to be as intricate. It can, but it doesn't have to be. And sometimes there's other factors in it other than the usual factors of a wedding. Like now you may have kids that you may want to include. Now you may want to remix it and have, a whole ceremony like you would a regular wedding. So I would say this is really a little more laid back, but it's really reaffirming like what they've been throughout the time they've been together before the vow renewal, and now making sure that they're reaffirming their initial commitment and now making a larger commitment because they're reaffirming to still be together and stay together.
What's the pricing like?
It's really whatever you would want, honestly. Like the same way Tiara will say, like, do your market research and pricing for like what people do nearby. Vow renewals may not be as common that you might see as opposed to initial ceremonies, whether it's elaborate, micro, sign and goals. But you could do it how you see fit. I would say if you want, you can do a package just for vow renewals if you choose to do so, or you can just charge the regular way. Like when I did my vow renewal, I didn't have a special package for it. I just said this was my price, based off the 3 tiers that I had.
Yeah, so I would agree. Vow renewals, I want to say I mostly see them like as a separate package, separate service. So they'll just have like vow renewals, and then they'll also have elopements, and then they'll also have, whatever their full service wedding package is. So I definitely see it marketed separately. It's essentially just another custom ceremony. I can't imagine people would do a vow renewal and do it like an elopement. Like, I don't know. Maybe an elopement in terms of it being like intimate, for guests. But I feel like a lot of times when people do a vow renewal, like they do that thing like a second wedding. Most of the ones I've seen, they've done it like a second wedding. But I agree. It's usually very similar elements to your regular wedding. A lot of times, they'll still walk down with the bridal party. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they'll walk down together, but sometimes they'll still walk down with a wedding party. The one that I did, the kids gave the bride away, but it was a surprise at the altar. So that was something that they came up with like last minute. That was very cute. So as she was like walking down, all the kids stood up and said, we present mommy to daddy again. So that was very nice, sentimental. Typically still have some type of unity ceremony in there, mainly, really because they have the kids. Yeah. And then what was the last thing? Similar to what Norma said, you don't usually do the paperwork over again because they're legally married. But if you go on, at least for New Jersey, the marriage license like website, they can apply for a remarriage. So they can get another marriage license. It would just be the same information again. I don't know why they would want to do that. Maybe if they want to change their date or something. It's cute. But yeah. So vow renewals will definitely be in there. I'll say that's maybe like a fifth package that people play around with, or they weave it into their custom ceremony package. So whether it's a vow renewal or your first ceremony, it's still a custom ceremony. So the price is still the same price. But vow renewals are good. I would say definitely if you want to target the, older population, like people who are actually, in the age range to have a vow renewal, then that's a good, like, specific, target audience to work with.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say the last two things I wanted to talk about was safety. Fall safety was one. And then the other one was, actually, no, I don't want to talk about fall safety. Let me rephrase that. I want to talk about bringing a guest or an assistant to the ceremony because I saw that in the Facebook group. So basically, if you haven't done any weddings yet, do you plan on bringing an assistant or a guest along with you to the ceremony? If so, how do you plan on talking to your couple about that? I think that was basically the gist of the question.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to re-ask it. I'm curious for everyone who has or has not done a wedding yet. If you have done a wedding yet, do you bring someone with you? If you haven't done one yet, do you plan on bringing someone with you, whether it's for safety or whatever? Let's see. All right. Sabrina said, I don't think that's okay. How's everybody else feeling? Unless I have permission. Okay. Oh, what you doing?
I'll wait until me and Tara will wait until everybody responds.
What you saying, Claudia? I'm sorry. You're saying not sure.
I guess I had typed a couple things because I looked at it myself and thought, what is that? I meant to say not sure. However, I plan to work with someone here in my state, like as a mentor, and that's one of the services she offers.
Okay.
It's like to come to your, so I think that would be good.
That's actually very smart. I was thinking about offering that as a service myself. Norma, I ain't talked to you about that yet, but I have been considering that. Like, let me come to your wedding and witness you. And I feel like that's a better route for mentorship personally. Yeah. But yeah. Okay, with permission, I don't think it's a problem, especially if traveling. Okay, cool. Yeah, a couple of different answers in here. Okay. Sabrina, why you think it's not okay? I mean, I know you said with permission, obviously, but why was that your first response? I'm just curious. If you could talk.
I have my mouth full.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
It's okay. It's okay. Because sometimes when you go to a wedding, the party has to pay for the extra person.
Yep.
And what if they're going to be there eating dinner at the reception? You have to consider those things if you're adding another party to your group. That's why I said with permission, yes.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay. I love that. That was a great answer. So half and half, right? First thing I wanted to share was I agree. When I first started, I thought it would be super weird to bring someone to the wedding with me. Even though when you look at some of the other vendors that are there during the wedding time that you would be there, most of them will be there with an assistant, right? But then they also do different work than you do. So I used to always think like, how can I really justify like bringing an assistant with me? Like what, you know what I mean? Like what need would they have? Like, yes, of course I want them to be there to get like content and like behind the scenes stuff and like, so I won't be alone, but like, I can't tell them that, you know what I mean? Like that ain't gonna be a good enough reason for them. So I kind of struggled with that in the beginning. And then I started to have couples kind of like offer like, oh, you know, if you want to bring someone with you, you know, just let us know. If you want to stay for the reception and you want to bring, you know, a plus one, that's fine with us, yada, yada, yada. And to the point where I transitioned to be like, hey, I'm always going to bring someone with me. Now, if you want us to stay for the reception, then let us know. No pressure, but then I will always come with someone with me. So if you could see, I kind of transitioned to a place where it's like, nah, somebody's always going to be there. But I started off with like, oh, this is like a little cringy. Like, should I not? Like, what's the reasoning for it? So I say that to say you can always transition. It feels very awkward at first. It feels very weird at first, but you can always transition. Secondly, to Sabrina's point, yes, when you're staying for the reception, that couple has to pay for you and your guest. But on the flip side, sometimes that's helpful to the couple because they have a minimum or people who dropped out that you standing in and coming in with another person, they now can pay a cheaper price because now they're paying for a vendor plate versus like a full plate. So like a vendor plate is cheaper, kids plates are a little bit cheaper. So sometimes it does work out, or to the point where like they don't really mind, because even if you help them meet their number, they're paying a smaller plate amount, if that makes sense.
Or they paid already.
Or they paid already.
So now it's just, you know, and people may have just not shown up. So now it's like, all right, the food is either going to waste.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say, yeah, basically either one of those. One, putting it in your contract is going to be really big, because then there's really no way for them to really dispute it. There's a couple of things that you need to have in your contract, like using their likeness, they're using your likeness. So that just means that you're able to post whatever footage that you take, you know, at the weddings that may have their faces or whatever in it for marketing materials on your website, on your social, stuff like that. So you want to put that in like your contract. But you want to put like, if you will be bringing a guest, you know, put that in your contract as well. I also tell them verbally, like, hey, you know, my assistant is going to come with me to the ceremony. They come with me to all of the ceremonies, you know, just to help me out, blah, 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 blah. And then when I bring the person, I make sure they're in dress code, right? Like you're going to be in like all black. Well, I honestly, I don't do all black. I see everybody else putting their assistants in all black, but like we typically stay for the reception. So like we want to be cute. Like we try to be in the photos. Like we want to do the photo booths and stuff like that. So like we kind of dress cute. So just letting them know like, hey, this person's going to come with me. If we are invited to the reception, we would absolutely, you know, love to stay. If not, no pressure. We will dip out after the cocktail hour. Yeah, and honestly, I haven't had any issues. I would say I've had one, I maybe had two couples who were like, hey, we would love for you to stay for the reception, but like we have a closed, you know, guest list. Okay, cool. I'm gonna just eat a lot at the cocktail hour. I'm gonna just eat a lot at the cocktail hour and, you know, and make my way out. But the biggest thing is you want to tell them ahead of time. You want to put it in your contract. You want to verbally tell them and tell them in writing. And whoever you bring, you know, you just want to make sure that they're professional. So you want to make sure that they are, again, dressed in whatever the attire is. So if it's, what do you call that? Super formal black tie, that person needs to come in black tie and formal. If it's an unplugged ceremony, you know, we don't want them to be mixing with the guests, but like have their phone out. But after we told everybody else to not have their phone out. So like if you are planning on using your own content creator or just having a friend or whoever they're taking photos for you in the background, have them in the back, like where the other staff and vendors are going to be at. So you just don't look like you just have your friend breaking all the rules, but everybody else got to follow them, like just optics wise. I've had that happen to me where a couple like took pictures of my person, like taking photos, and like, and we had an unplugged ceremony, and I was like, girl, you sure did. You know what? You got it. So, you know, respecting your couple's wishes while also getting what you need to get done. Now, sidebar. Norman, I don't know if you've been seeing this woman going around on TikTok, but there is a business. Oh, you ain't got no TikTok. You get on my nerves. Oh my gosh, you get on my nerves. Okay, anyway, so now I'm gonna tell everybody for the first time. This is a case study. Basically, there is a hair and makeup artist in New Jersey who made a TikTok video series about how she recently got kicked out of a wedding. And here is why. After she performed her services, she decided to stay around and do some BTS, behind the scenes footage, her own little content creator moment. So she's taking photos of the first look. She's having the wedding party do TikToks. She's apparently in the aisle of the ceremony taking photos. She is at the reception, at the cocktail hour. She is in the mix, honey. And it wasn't until she went back into the bridal suite where the groom and the bride were, I guess, having a private moment. And the groom basically, you know, expressed to her that she was no longer welcomed and he really wanted her to leave, and that she's been making everyone feel super uncomfortable and like overstepping her boundaries the entire time. And from my understanding, the girl started crying. So now the bride and the bride's mom is consoling the woman, and she gets, you know, nicely escorted out, and then goes on social media and tells the story. Crazy. People do whatever they want in their business. Crazy. But as you can imagine, people are dragging her right now because they felt like she overstepped her boundaries while, you know, doing the work that she was supposed to be doing. So you want to be mindful about respecting the couple's wishes, not overstepping boundaries, being in the background, and whoever it is that you're bringing to work with you also being in the background, making sure that they understand wedding etiquette, that they're representative of your business. So, you know, you just want to be mindful of who it is that you're bringing with you. So that's my 2 cents on that.
What I will say with the BTS, aka behind the scenes, she, based on what you just said, she did the behind the scenes at the wrong time. The behind the scenes, and let's give the clarity, everyone. So the behind the scenes, at least for me, is I'm doing it way before the ceremony starts. It's not in anybody's way. You can do behind the scenes without the couple and without the bridal party. But if you're gonna do that and you need them for your behind the scenes, that's a conversation that you and the couple need to have prior to the day of the wedding. And why I say that is because most weddings, especially if it's at a venue, we're the strict schedule. So this isn't time for you to like have your moment to shine. This is time for us to have a production. Like a wedding is an actual production from whenever they wake up until whenever we shut down and close up. So for you to be in the way of other vendors, also when you're like that, that's not considerate of your fellow vendors, because you telling them to do TikToks, baby, she got to get her hair done. She don't got time for that. Not only that, or like, baby, they got to put their dress on, because the photographer and videographer, remember, you don't know what's in these other people's contracts. So you doing that can now have the couple spending more money. Surprisingly, you may not know, because now the other vendor is like, we're past our time limit.
I mean, no, absolutely. It was that piece. It was the girl just kept, explaining that she thought everybody was having a good time, that she was bringing the energy, the vibes. Nobody complained. She was checking in with the bride. She was checking in with the other vendors. And I think one thing that gets overlooked a lot of the time is that a wedding is a celebration of two people, right? A lot of the time the focus is on the bride, it's her day and things like that. But, you know, there's another party that's there, right? The groom is there. So I don't think that she really checked in with the groom or the couple as a whole, but you're over here interrupting and impeding on their day. So just checking in with the bride is not enough. And clearly the bride wasn't the one that, you know, finally, you know, nipped the whatever in the bud, all of this in the bud. But the point is that just, again, understanding what your boundaries are, understanding how to get the shots that you need, but you're not in the way of what anybody else has to do. You're not interrupting the timeline. You're not, like they said, the girl was in behind, the girl was in the shots of the first look. That's how much in the scenes she was.
Oh wow.
That's not funny because nobody wants to do that type of editing. That's annoying. But it's just to say that, like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Wow.
That's insane. So, needless to say, when you go there as a professional, you want to find a way to showcase your work, right? Something similar to what Sabrina said. Girl, even if you've done 50 weddings, you may not have professional photos from none of them 50 weddings. You know what I'm saying? You may not have reviews from none of those 50 weddings. So you do have to essentially create your own way of collecting this type of content and doing it solo, because in these situations, you're waiting for the photographer, you're waiting for the videographer, you're waiting for the couple to do their part for you to be able to do your part. So as much as you can do alone, try to do it, but you want to be smart about it. You want to be strategic about it. So another thing, I could crash some weddings and get some photos. I mean, honestly, you can even do a mock ceremony. You can do a fake brand shoot, not even a fake brand shoot. You can do a real brand shoot. It don't got to be fake. But the point is, you can even do something like just, again, going to like a really nice parking area or just some outside places where people get married and taking some photos there, especially, again, if they're landmark places that people get married a lot in your like neighborhood or your city or neighboring cities. That right there is going to be picturesque and draw a relation to the wedding industry if this is a place where people get married and you're taking professional photos there looking really like pretty in your dress and have like a microphone prop or like your padfolio prop, like we can connect what type of work that you do. And then similar with a mock ceremony, if you want to gather a couple of friends and have everyone pretend to be doing an elopement or, you know, just a little mini ceremony and you want to take photos of that, basically that the industry calls that a style shoot. So we're calling it a mock ceremony because we didn't have all the connections of a style shoot yet, but that's basically what a style shoot is. It is a fake put together for the photograph, you know, session so that everyone who's a part of it, all of the vendors can all use those images and basically like, what's the word I'm looking for? Barter their services or products or whatever. So basically you'll be doing your own version of a style shoot. So those are different ways that you can really start to gain like that content beforehand. Now, just a little bit, only because we're on the subject of content you should be getting at the ceremonies to kind of mitigate when you don't get what you need from other vendors, from the couples. Let's break down what that can look like. So content that you can be getting ready for wedding day. Any type of calls that you have with the couple, you can be, you know, recording that type of content, practicing, doing a ceremony script. You can record that kind of content, practicing yourself like writing or just showing your screen while you're writing or whatever, recording yourself typing, that is content. Get ready with me. So what you are going to wear to the wedding, that's content. Any type of scenery on your way to the wedding, that's content. Packing your officiant bag, that's content. Getting to the actual ceremony space early and filming the landscape, any of the grounds outside, any of the grounds inside, that's content. Doing just what they call like B-roll when there's no specific focus to what you're recording. So maybe during, while guests are arriving, you're just like taking photos of all of the people mingling around in the room. That's content. Taking pictures of your couple's actual decor, that's content and good for like, future inspiration. Anytime that you are taking photos with other vendors, that's content. Again, taking photos of the ceremony space, of the reception space, of the cocktail space, all of that is content. I am very, very, very big on video testimonials. So after you have done a ceremony, going to your couples, getting a video testimonial, that's content. Some people who wear glasses, y'all can get this off. I cannot, but there's an officiant in Florida. His name is Legendary. He owns Legendary Weddings, and he has the glasses where you can record. He has smart glasses. So he's recording everything. He's recording him walking up to the venue, introducing himself to the other vendors, mic check, going in to check in with the couple, the actual ceremony from his POV, and all of the guests that come up to him after to compliment him on the ceremony. So them guests may never, ever write a review, but he has this recording of them complimenting him, his services, his performance, his writing. So if you're able to capture stuff like that, that's awesome. Having like that assistant or that guest, that person that's coming to the ceremony with you, they need to have a job. They ain't coming there just for the free drinks and the cocktail hour. They have a role. They are your personal videographer. You never know when somebody may walk up to you and be like, oh my God, that ceremony was so good, amazing. And now that's caught on camera, right? You have no idea. When you are interacting with the guests, signing the marriage license, interacting with other vendors, interacting with the couple, interacting with the planner, or whoever is in charge, that person that you brought with you should be capturing those BTS moments because that's you working in real time. And it is super authentic. Absolutely. So that's like you, like them seeing you do your job. So like you're talking about organization and professionalism. Imagine you have photos of you sitting with, two witnesses. You got your clipboard, you got your pen, and you're showing them how to sign a marriage license. That's an easy photo to, attest to your organization and professionalism in a way that you can put that content out there. So, excuse me, those are just content ideas that you want to consider if you are really into media and content creation and want to get down with like doing TikToks and doing reels. These are opportunities to kind of plan ahead and being like, okay, what type of TikToks do I want to do? What type of reels do I want to do? Do I have a concept? Do I have the sound save so that you know what type of shots you want to get before you even get to the venue? You have a concept before you even get there. And then you start to see these officiants who are starting to have these signature, things, right? So you might see people with my girl Marcy in South Carolina, Married by Marcy. She has her signature where the bride throws the bouquet and she catches it, right? And that's her signature reel. Every couple she's, done that with, she's done it with over like 10, 15 now. I look forward to seeing them. Super cute. Another officiant, Rev Roxy, super cute, known as like the Tinkerbell of weddings. She does a little shimmy with her couples, right? Known for doing this. All her couples look forward to it. Someone like Officiant Jimmy from Oregon, he seals it with a shot. So whether it's a shot of alcohol, a shot of water, or a shot of M&Ms, whatever, he likes to seal his ceremony with a shot, something that is just, quirky into him. But these are reels. These are ways that these people are using content creation and social media to show their personality, their authenticity, and just a way that they are vibrant, for the work that they do. So that is another one. But I definitely wanted to jump into that. Did we have any questions around content creation or content you should be capturing at the weddings, wedding etiquette, anything like that? We got about 7 minutes left.
Followed by your homework.
Okay, followed by the homework. Listen, we honestly want to develop like the Wedding Officiant Academy to have like a component to where like you guys are actually doing work in your business that we can see, touch, and feel, that we can see progress and monitor on a weekly basis, so we can see you guys reaching y'all goals at a little bit of a quicker pace.
Mm-hmm.
So let this homework be the first little taste of that. And, you know, if you decide to do the work, then, you know, tag us in and we will meet you on the accountability and, you know, the growth train. But in the meantime, I think the last thing that I wanted to ask is anyone in here going to Wedding MBA this year? Drop a 1 in the chat if you're going to Wedding MBA. Drop a 2 if you have no idea what Wedding MBA is. Because I don't think nobody here is from the tri-state area to be going to AMM this month. So let's talk about Wedding MBA real quick. All right, so just Norman. Sorry, Norm, you're on your own. I also am not going this year.
It's okay. It's okay. So one of the things Tiara and I talk about, sometimes you'll see events that we go to, and it's a lot of professional development in order to continue your craft, or AKA continuing education. So continuing education consists of more than just you saying, well, I'm going to join YouTube. YouTube University is great, don't get me wrong, but you should be also going to conferences, not only to network, but also to learn new tricks of the trade, learn the new trends, and also just be a better you. No matter how long you are an officiant, there's always room for growth. There's always room to learn the new trends and the new fads. So some of these conferences definitely allow you to network. And not only does it allow you to network, but it allows you to potentially have partnership and collaboration, and also have other people that you can refer out to. They can refer you, people that, let's say, for example, if you can't do a wedding, you'll give it to that person. And not only that, learning new ways to be a better officiant. So there's a plethora of things that I've learned going to these conferences that I now was like, oh, you know what? That was good. I never thought of it like that. Let me add that to my consultations, or let me add that to how I project or don't project at certain times. So there are a plethora of conferences. Wedding Pro has a few. Wedding Pro actually had one on Tuesday this week. Wedding MBA is in Vegas from November 12th to the 14th. I'm going from the 12th to the 15th. And most of them, you'll realize, like the real big ones or decent ones, they are on the weekdays. And I guess there's like the secret message or notion that we're going to have weekday conferences, because most of the couples you may have, like, or ceremonies you may have, might really be on the weekend. Like, your moneymaker really would be on the weekend. So I guess that's why they do it on the weekdays. But I definitely will encourage you to, even if you can't travel out to like another conference in another state, see what your local state has, or like your local area has. Network, learn, grow, even if it's other vendors other than officiants.
Yeah. Absolutely. So like Norm said, Wedding MBA is in Vegas. It is a annual wedding conference. I want to say it literally stands for Wedding Merchant Business Academy. Don't quote me, but maybe you can. But yeah, so it's really big. It's for all wedding vendors, not just officiants, across the globe, because I feel like
Mm-hmm.
people come from outside of the United States as well. So it's really, really, really big. Excuse me. Unfortunately, there is no attendance online. You can only attend in person. It is a 3-day conference. They have vendor-specific tracks, so education specifically for officiants, videographers, photographers, venue owners, and the list goes on. They also have main talk, so you'll see a lot of these industry speakers like Terica and Bethel, and some of these people be on these main stages, and they talk about specific topics that are wedding related and wedding business related. They also have WedCon, which is basically an exhibitor's floor, and it has different products and services that you can use for your wedding business. And then lastly, industry parties and just little networking events. So specifically for officiants, American Marriage Ministries and the International Association of Professional Wedding Officiants, IAPWO, they host an officiant happy hour on the first day. It's really cool because you pretty much, meet all the officiants that are typically, going to be there for the conference. And again, just a good way for you to network, meet some other people, all that good stuff. So definitely an experience. I think that everyone goes there, you learn something new. It is something to look forward to every year. I don't know that I'll be going every year. I'm sad that I'm not experiencing Norman's first year with him, but that's probably a good thing. You probably need to go out there and experience it on your own and then tell us all how you loved it.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that for you. It is Wedding MBA. Wedding MBA. I don't know if it's a .org, .com. It's a .com. WeddingMBA.com. There's a lot of codes out there where you should be able to get the tickets for $199. They don't go no cheaper than $199. The cheapest you can ever get a ticket is the last day of the current conference. So last day is the cheapest you can get it for the next year, and I think it's $149. So if you like it and you think that that's something that you want to attend every year, even if you understand that going to this conference is a business write-off. Once you actually formulate your business to be a business, of course, you can't write off a business if you can claim it as a business, right? So if you decide to claim it as a business, this trip can be a business write-off. That means your ticket, that means your plane ride, that means your transportation, your housing, any type of meals, any type of activities. Try to make it a little business related in there, but yes, activities, all of that type of stuff. So understand that you will not be going in vain. Not only will you be going and gathering education that will hopefully help you implement new services or products that you can charge more for next year, but also if you keep all your receipts and document it the right way, you can reduce your taxable income by saying that you use some of that income to purchase things to go to Wedding MBA. So that's a 2-for-1. But lastly, if you do not know, American Marriage Ministries does have officiant accelerators. They are a 1-day officiant. How do you explain it? Like a business accelerator.
Yeah, it's like a 9-to-5 workshop where
workshop. There you go.
you learn and you actually get a lot of tutorials, a lot of takeaways. I will say I definitely left with a few takeaways last year, and that was Tiara and I's first one.
Yes, agreed. That was the first time they ever did it as well. So this is their second year. They definitely have amped it up. They have also asked not only just those officiants that you usually see on the webinars, but also just local officiants that have made an impact in their area there. So I love that they are starting to do that. But mainly I would love for you to see if one is coming to your state. If you can get a ticket, if you can get off of work, if you do work full time, I would highly suggest that you go. There's also a lot of resources online as far as online education. There's, these, free weekly challenges and just all of this stuff online. So if you're not following Wedding Pro, I suggest you follow them. If you're not following stuff Wedding Summit Series or Evolve Your Wedding Biz, these are some of the companies that I know that host annually, sometimes 2 to 3 times a year, these kind of free weekly webinar challenges specifically for wedding industry professionals. So we're going to update our calendar if we see any coming up for the next couple of months. So definitely go back and like check there. But outside of that, our last few moments, we want to, one, thank you guys for hanging out with us for these 2 hours. We love when you show up every month. Next time, bring a friend or 2. We want to fill these spaces more with, more conversation, more perspective, and more people ready to build up their officiant business. Secondly, if you sign up through Luma, then you should get an email asking you to rate our experience today, our class, whatever you want to call it, workshop, social. We are looking for 5 stars, the same way you want 5 stars from your clients, customers. We're looking for 5 stars and just a couple of, sentence or 2 about what you learned, why you came, why you want to come back, so that we can encourage other people to get into this room as well. And then lastly, our stand store is on sale, 50% off for the month of September. So all of our workshops, everything is $25. And our application for our shadowing program opens up October 1st. So if you are interested in being matched with a mentor that's in your area, or if you are a mentor and interested in being matched with a mentee that's in your area, we are looking for you. So we ask that you fill out our interest application. This is our pilot program that's in collaboration with the International Association of Professional Wedding Officiants. So shout out to us. But mainly, we need y'all help to, get these signing up so that we can start to match people come January 2025. So that is our goal. And then the more people that we have active in our community, posting, answering, sharing, the better it is for all of us. So that's it. Can I answer any last minute questions? Last minute questions. How much will it cost? Yeah, so our shadowing program is going to be a part of our elite membership, and that is going to be $49.97 a month. And if you want to come in on the IAPWO side, I believe their membership might be either 97 or 147 for the year. I'm not mistaken.
But you have to do both, right?
You have to do what?
You have to do both, join both.
No, you have to do one or the other. So some people like to go on the IAPWO side. They have more business like benefits in terms of like if you want a discount for your insurance or stuff like that. But they don't really have anything in terms of mentorship, coaching, training. They just have one kind of social a quarter. So when you come in on our side, we're going to have our weekly co-working sessions. We're going to have a weekly accountability call. And then we're also going to include our Riches and the Niches series and then our shadowing program.
What is the website we go to where you have the courses?
One more time, I just caught the echo.
Sorry. What is the website that you have the courses?
Oh, yes.
There
you go. It is our stand store. And then that also is where the calendar is. And if you want to do the application, the interest application for the shadowing program is there as well.
I think I already did the application.
You probably did. You're doing pretty good. We have like 30 to 15. We have about 15 mentors signed up, about 30 mentees. So we want to even that out a little bit more. Okay, y'all. Well, if I cannot answer any more questions, I'm gonna give you one last little last minute dash because our next social is not until next month.
Yes.
Do you know the date, Norman, off the top of your head?
I have it for you. Hold on. And I'm gonna give y'all the homework real quick too. I ain't gonna make it long-winded for y'all.
Yes.
So the homework, well, I think the only person that wasn't here, it was one person that wasn't here. But the prior homework that I said before as a reminder is for everyone to list down their traits that they feel that makes them stand out. not only as an officiant, but as a person as well. And then what you're going to do, part B, is emulate all of those traits, whether they're adjectives, nouns, verbs, and put that in your branding material and brand in general. Part two is going to be find a podcast or find a YouTube series or even a person that resonates with you relating to weddings. So every week you should be learning something new about your craft. So whoever you resonate with is the person that you should be following and taking notes from and being, a better officiant than you was yesterday. And the October one is October 24th. So we definitely have over a month until we virtually meet again.
Oh, it's the 24th or the 14th?
Mm-mm. It is the 24th.
All right. Well, I need to go and fix our our thing real quick. That is so funny. Sidebar, if you are looking for a wedding related podcast, no shameless plug or anything, but I do have one. So I'm gonna just throw it right there in the chat. It's more couples focused, but it is hosted by myself and my West Coast officiant, Miss Rev I Do, Whitney. So we started this as almost like an extension of our officiant brand. So yes, we are providing, wedding planning advice to couples, but we're also giving them the perspective from a professional wedding officiant, which we feel like our industry really, really needs that specific voice and perspective. And then we're filtering it all through coffee because, well, we're two Black women. So our podcast is where candid wedding conversations are brewed with authenticity and culture. So if you need a podcast to listen to, we got a couple episodes up there.
Is it on YouTube?
It is on YouTube, yes.
What platform do you use?
So to record, we use Riverside, and for distribution,
Excellent. That's what I use.
yeah, and for distribution, we use YouTube and Spotify.
Cool. Cool.
Yes, love it, love it, love it. Okay, well, we will see you next time. Don't forget that 5-star review on Luma. If you want to get you any type of classes, workshops, digital products to help you, everything is $25. So get it while you can. And hopefully we will see you next month for our October social. Yes. Thank you guys. And we'll see you next time. Peace out. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Let's see. Let's stop recording. Hold on.
Oh, you still in?